Imagine seeing neighbors dragged out of their homes, families destroyed in minutes, and a child crying as soldiers carried her away, never to return. Christoph lived this terror up close during World War II, and yet he found a way not to let his mind sink. In today's video, you'll discover the 6 steps to building a strong mind and overcoming any challenge. Christoph was born in 1921 in Hungary, and life tested him from the start. As a child, he lost his mother to pneumonia and grew up under the care of a hostile stepmother. Even in this harsh setting, he found in his father a wise man whose support kept him going. From then on, he learned his first lesson: when everything seems dark, you must find strength in whatever good remains. In his youth, World War II changed everything. Fear was constant. At any moment, Nazi soldiers could invade his home. Friends and neighbors vanished into concentration camps, and every day felt like a final farewell. But in that chaos, Christoph discovered another truth: the mind is the last fortress when everything else is taken. One night, he witnessed a scene he would never forget. German soldiers stormed the street where he lived and dragged an entire family out of their home. A mother knelt, begging them to at least spare her little daughter, but she was shoved aside with violence. The child clutched her toy and cried while her father, in despair, was beaten in front of everyone as a warning. The neighbors stood frozen, forbidden to react. Hours later, they were gone, and never came back. How many innocent lives were lost in silence during that war, and do you value the freedom that so many never had the chance to live? In moments, you'll discover the 6 steps that saved Christoph's mind during the war, powerful lessons that today can strengthen you to overcome any obstacle and live with more balance and courage. Christoph was only 12, but the outrage of that night stayed with him forever. How could such cruelty exist? How could lives be ripped away with such coldness? And yet, in the face of brutality, he reaffirmed his need to resist mentally. While the world drowned in hatred, he promised not to let his mind be poisoned by the same venom. While many gave in to despair, he chose a different path. Before being called to war, his father gave him advice Christoph never forgot: "My son, when everything around you seems lost, don't let your mind surrender. There's always something good: the air you breathe, the warmth of a friend, the memory of someone you love. Hold on to that, and you'll have the strength to endure whatever comes." Those words became his compass in chaos. Christoph began to cultivate gratitude for small things: being alive, breathing freely, remembering his father's love. There was also something special. Christoph had a small radio, and on nights when the tension became unbearable, he tuned into classical music that cut through the silence of war. Each melody was like a breath of peace, reminding him that beauty still existed in the world. This practice, together with his father's words, became his invisible shield. As he often said, gratitude is the medicine that keeps the soul from sinking. Christoph lost his mother to pneumonia, his father, and many relatives and friends in the war. He survived and managed to go to the United States with a family friend. There, he started over from zero, built his life, got married, and turned his pain into wisdom. He became living proof that cultivating the positive is always the best solution. And you, have you been cultivating the positive in your life? Christoph's story reminds us that true strength lies not only in the body, but also in the mind and heart. He showed that gratitude, mental discipline, and hope are weapons stronger than any army. And this legacy doesn't belong only to him, it's an invitation for all of us, to keep our minds steady, even when the world seems to fall apart. Get ready, because what I'll share now goes far beyond war memories. These are real lessons, proven by Christoph's life, that can transform not only how you face difficulties, but also the strength of your mind and the way you overcome any challenge. This channel is new. Help us grow on YouTube, subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. Let's discover together the 6 steps that shaped Christoph's mind during the war. The last one is the most overlooked, but it might be the key to keeping hope alive and finding strength even in chaos. 1. The mind is the last fortress. Christoph lived in a time when everything could be taken overnight: home, friends, freedom. But he discovered something that no one could steal: his thoughts. Protecting his mind was like building invisible walls against the war. While many were breaking inside, he realized that if he kept control of his thoughts, nothing external could destroy him completely. He followed his father's advice, and that lesson stayed with him for life: when the world collapses, your mind can be your last shelter. 2. Gratitude is a shield against despair. Amid hunger, fear, and constant loss, Christoph chose the practice of gratitude. He was thankful for being alive, for one more day he could breathe freely. They were small daily victories, but they worked as armor against despair. By counting his blessings even in chaos, he discovered that a grateful heart is stronger than fear. That's how he kept his soul whole when everything around him tried to break it. 3. Focusing on the positive builds resilience. While many gave in to pain, Christoph trained his mind to see hope where none seemed to exist. This habit wasn't born of ease, but of necessity. He knew that if he didn't find something to believe in, he wouldn't endure. Focusing on the positive became his secret strength, a mental exercise that, little by little, built his resilience. This discipline didn't end with the war, it followed him through life, teaching that resistance begins in the mind, before it happens in the body. 4. Suffering can teach us to value the essential. The war showed Christoph how fragile life really is. In an instant, everything could be lost: home, friends, safety. Yet it was this very pain that taught him to value what truly matters. The love of those who remained, the freedom to walk down the street, the preservation of health, the simple fact of waking up alive, all gained new meaning. He understood that when the unnecessary disappears, the essential shines brighter. That vision became a beacon: the simplest moments can be the most precious. 5. Inner control surpasses outer chaos. Christoph couldn't stop the war, halt the soldiers, or save everyone he loved. But he discovered something fully in his power: how to respond to it all. Choosing to keep his mind calm was his way of resisting. That decision saved him, turning pain into discipline and fear into courage. In time, he realized this is the greatest freedom of all: when we can't control the world, we can always control our response to it. 6. Cultivate gratitude, humility, and mental control. Now it's your turn. If you want to truly strengthen your mind, start practicing gratitude daily. Instead of focusing on what's missing, learn to recognize what you already have. This simple act changes the way your brain sees problems, bringing more balance and clarity. Humility is also essential. When we accept that we can't control everything, we free energy to focus on what truly depends on us. Science confirms these effects. Research published by the American Psychological Association shows that practicing gratitude reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression, while listening to soft music lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. Meditating on positive phrases strengthens neural connections linked to resilience and well-being. The secret lies in uniting these elements: gratitude, humility, mental control, and a calm environment. By playing soothing music and repeating words that affirm your essence, you train your mind to remain steady even in the fiercest storms. Phrases to meditate on while listening to soft music. 1. I am grateful to be alive today. 2. My mind is calm, even when the world is chaotic. 3. Each breath brings me strength and hope. 4. The peace I cultivate within me is greater than any fear. If you've made it this far, congratulations. That shows you are committed to learning from Christoph's life and strengthening your mind to face any challenge. Throughout this story, we've seen practices that are simple but powerful: protecting your thoughts as your last fortress, practicing gratitude in chaos, focusing on the positive to build resilience, valuing what's essential, and maintaining inner control even when the world falls apart. How many thousands of Christophs lived through the horrors of war, and how many survived? If gratitude and mental strength were able to save lives during one of the darkest times in history, imagine what they can do in your everyday life. The question is, are you willing to practice gratitude and cultivate mental health to overcome the challenges in your own journey? This channel is new, created to inspire and help you find balance, courage, and self-knowledge. Subscribe and stay with us. Together, we'll discover that it's always possible to start again, with hope, strength, and wisdom.